Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 12th of July, now it's 15 past 10 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update today, in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. Second update will be a little bit late in the afternoon on my Patreon page, in which I will share additional news that will be reported by Russian media. By the way, as you know, I do some extra content on Patreon on regular basis in attempt to generate additional interest among members of our community towards Patreon, because it's one of the major lifelines for this project, and I will be immensely grateful if you will consider to join my Patreon. You will see link under this video in the description box or in the pinned comment. And one more minute, if I may, to make a little announcement. During the previous days, weeks and months, I was asked quite a few times to create page on Russian payment systems so that citizens of Russia or guests of Russia that are here can also support this project. And I did create that kind of page yesterday on Boosty. That's the name of that system. And I will share a link in description box or in the pinned comments. So from now on, guests of Russia or Russian citizens also can donate and support this project. I'm not sure if payments for that system will work from outside of Russia, but from Russia it does works, because I just tested yesterday. My wife did send me small donation, and it does work. So that's been said. Let's talk about news now, and I will start with the Ukrainian special military operation. And first of all, quick summary of situation on the front line. I will start from southern sectors to northern sectors. So Kherson region, it's not big changes really during the previous 24 hours. It's mainly artillery duels between the sides and recon operations. Zaporozhye sector of the front line and South Donetsk sector of the front line. Also quite situation in comparison to previous weeks, when we did see quite significant activity. Zelensky's regime, forces that are still loyal to Zelensky's regime, do continue to try to improve their positions or even enter settlement of Rabotina, but they are quite unsuccessful really. And I did share on my Telegram page and many video and photo confirmation of destroyed armored columns of Ukrainian forces that were participating in that local scale offensive in that direction. For some reason Ukrainian armed forces still using this suicidal tactic of frontal attack, and they are moving through minefields without clearing those minefields. It's just pure madness. It's just pure madness really. But yet again, that's what we are seeing time to time. When it comes to western sector of the Zaporozhye front line, main hot point was Pitikhatki-Zhiribyanki direction. There are some reports that Ukrainian forces did try to enter Pitikhatki once again, but they were met with artillery and forced to retreat with some significant losses. Russian side still controls this bridgehead between Ugledar and Gulyai-Pole, despite all the attempts of Ukrainian forces to establish control on this so-called Vremevsky ledge. They are quite unsuccessful, and to make overall assumption of situation on this main direction of Ukrainian counteroffensive, Zaporozhye sector and the South Donetsk sector, it's still operational pause. And basically no one knows probably how long this operational pause will last. Then Donetsk direction, usually hot points are Marinka and Avdiivka, but yesterday we did had reports that Russian forces were quite active in the northern sector of Avdiivka, on Marinka, in Krasnogorovka direction. During the day we will probably learn some more information, and I wouldn't be surprised if we will receive information that Russian forces did manage to establish partial control or improve their positions in Krasnogorovka direction. When it comes to Avdiivka, this city is in operational encirclement. Russian forces are conducting some local scale offensive operations. Ukrainian forces do try to counterattack and deblockade the city. They don't really have that much success, but yet again, I guess my prediction about Avdiivka for a long time now is becoming correct, and Avdiivka truly does play for quite some time now a role of second Bakhmut, kind of trap or magnet, where Zelensky's regime is sending more and more reinforcements, and Russian sides are dealing with these reinforcements unit by unit. Seems like Zelensky's regime did not learn nothing from Bakhmut story, just nothing. When it comes to Bakhmut itself, as you know, in southern flank of Bakhmut, Ukrainian forces were quite active, especially in the direction of Kurdyumovka and Lishevka, but during the previous 24 to 48 hours, situation did begin to change significantly, and Ukrainian forces probably ran out of steam, and now initiative is in Russian hands. That's my reading of this picture, and Russian artillery was very active in this segment of the front, and as you know, Akhmat special forces were also deployed in this area. That of course did play significant role to retake initiative in this direction. So as I said, Russian side is initiative is in Russian hands now on the southern flank of Bakhmut, and when it comes to northern flank of Bakhmut, some Ukrainian telegram channels or some Ukrainian sources did report that Ukrainian forces managed to even enter Birkhovka, even enter Bakhmut and Yakhidna, which is false, by the way. This is not true. I did not see any video or photo confirmation of that. In reality, I guess exactly the opposite did happen, and Russian forces did manage to improve their positions in Yakhidna and Birkhovka directions. Ukrainian forces never did enter Bakhmut, really. So there's nothing to improve there. Bakhmut is under full Russian control. And there are some reports that Ukrainian forces were trying to conduct some activity in Solidar direction, but they were met with Russian artillery and did not really achieve anything at all. When it comes to Seversk direction, significant changes. Heavy artillery duels between the sides, heavy fighting in Belgorovka area. But what is most important, yesterday we did receive information that Russian forces were very active in Yampol-Liman direction, and I did report on my Telegram page that Russian forces did manage to establish control over the settlement of Tarskoye on Krasny Liman direction. And by the way, this is Tarskoye, small settlement, but it does has strategic meaning in this sector of the front, because if Russian side will manage to move forward in this area, then I guess Russian activity in this forest area near Yampol and Liman will also become much more significant, and we may even see attempt from Russian forces to establish control over the Yampol and Liman. And by the way, we did have some reports that Russian forces did conduct yet another waves of offensive operations in the direction of Kupiansk with some significant success. And by the way, Ukrainian forces were trying to counterattack somehow and regain control over the lost territories, especially in the direction of Tarskoye. And I did share video footage of those attacks from Ukrainian side, but yet again, it seems like Ukrainian armed forces are losing not just steam, but they are losing level of organization, because sometimes there are some videos on the internet. Some of them I do share, some of them I cannot because they are too graphic. But I mean, when you are watching these videos, you will definitely think that these guys don't really know what they are doing. So maybe Ukrainian armed forces already are on the breaking point. Already are on a breaking point. And if that's the case, if I am correct, then in coming weeks and coming months before end of this summer, we will probably see increase in disobedience in Ukrainian army and significant increase in instances when Ukrainian forces, entire Ukrainian units are surrendering, like it did happen yesterday in one of the directions of the front line. I did see a video that one of the Ukrainian units did contact Russian side in radio. As I understand, I did listen to conversation, and as I understand, Russian side is dropping leaflets on territories that are controlled by Ukrainian forces on the front line, and on those leaflets some radio waves are mentioned that Ukrainian forces can use to conduct Russian forces in a secure manner. And yesterday one of the units did conduct Russian forces, and they did said that they are surrendering. They have wounded soldiers and they have to be taken care of, and well, Russian side did contacted different units in that area to make sure that this particular Ukrainian unit won't become under fire. And I guess as a result of negotiations, this unit is already on the safe side, and wounded soldiers will receive medical attention they need, and the rest of the soldiers will probably live long life. They made the right decision. So that's the overall situation when it comes to front line. During the previous night, Russian forces did conducted yet another strike on logistical and military infrastructure of Zelensky's regime, this time mainly with the drones. And we do have reports that explosions were heard in Kirovograd, Chernigov, Konstantinovka, Sumy, Cherkasy, and several other regions. Well, that's 12 minutes. Okay, it's not that quick summary, not that short summary of the situation on the front line, but I did try. Of course, this morning military summary will also make update, and he does a much greater job when it comes to analysis of situation on the front line. So I do definitely recommend military summaries channel. Now let's talk about news that was reported by Russian media, and I will start with RIA Novosti. Yesterday, Russian Defense Minister Shoigu did made quite significant statements. I guess especially for a day when a NATO summit was taking place in Vilnius, and Shoigu did said that Ukrainian forces didn't manage to achieve any success, any more or less significant success during the counteroffensive in Zaporozhye and South Donetsk front line. And he did said that since the 4th of June, when this counteroffensive began, armed forces of Ukraine did lost more than 26,000 soldiers already, and about 3,000 different type of armored vehicles. And he did give us some specifics also. So according to Shoigu, 1,200 tanks and armored personnel carriers, different type of armored personnel carriers, were destroyed during this time period from 4th of June. Among them, 914 special armored equipment, 25 MLRS systems, 17 Leopard main battle tanks, 12 Bradley armored personnel carriers. When I see this number, I mean 12 armored personnel carriers, I was kind of surprised, because there are so many videos and photo material about destroyed Bradleys. I just shared a few minutes ago on my Telegram one of the Bradleys that was captured by Russian soldiers, that's numbers that Shoigu is giving us. But me personally, I was surprised to see 12, because I guess, I don't know, quite a few dozen Bradleys probably are already destroyed. But yet again, so 403 artillery pieces were also destroyed, among them 43 M777 artillery, M777 howitzers, and 46 self-prepared howitzers from Poland, USA, and France. 2 air defense systems were also destroyed, 21 planes, 5 helicopters, 5 French wheeled light tanks, IMX-10, and overall, as I mentioned, more than 1,200 tanks and armored personnel carriers were destroyed during this quite short period of time, since 4th of June up till I guess yesterday. So yes, and Shoigu also did mention that 176 HIMARS missiles were shot down by Russian air defense systems, 27 Storm Shadow missiles, and 483 different type of drones. So, well, we are not for nothing are saying that this counteroffensive was catastrophic failure for Zelensky's regime, just suicidal operation from the very beginning. And these numbers that Shoigu did share with the public definitely confirms this. 26,000 killed and wounded personnel that Zelensky's regime lost since the beginning of this counteroffensive, means that they did lost about at least 7 to 8 brigades. 7 to 8 brigades of Ukrainian armed forces, including from strategic reserves, have been destroyed, partially or completely. And I guess right now, only strategic reserve that Zelensky's regime has is about like 10 more brigades, maybe maximum 15, and battle readiness of those brigades are very questionable simultaneously. That's why I'm saying that in my reading of big picture, Ukrainian armed forces are on the verge of breaking point, and we may see beginning of collapse of Ukrainian army in a day's time, in days, maximum weeks time. Let's see. Let me continue now, and this is TASS News Agency's report about statements that Vladimir Rogov did made, the head of NGO from Zaporozhye region. We are with Russia. So according to Rogov, during the clashes during the previous 24 to 48 hours, 3 Leopard tanks were destroyed on the front line, and also 5 Bradley armored personnel carriers. So that's why I'm saying this figure that Shoigu did give us 12 Bradleys. I mean, well, I find it strange, because definitely more Bradleys have been destroyed. Definitely. Maybe he had old figures, I don't know, but just during the previous 24 to 48 hours, Zelensky's regime lost at least 5 Bradleys and 3 Leopard 2 tanks. I did share many video and photo confirmations of this on my Telegram, and you can check it out if you are interested. And if you are not subscribed on my Telegram, please consider to do so. I do share plenty of news on my Telegram on daily basis. Let me continue now, and this is also TASS News Agency's report, which is based on statements on information from Andrei Marochko, military expert from LPR, Lugansk People's Republic, and according to him, Russian forces did manage to achieve some significant success on Kupiansk direction. I did mention this in the beginning of today's update. Russian forces truly are achieving significant success on Kupiansk direction, not just during the previous 24 or 48 hours, but last quite a few weeks now. Russian forces are constantly moving forward in that area, and as I said quite a few times before, by the way, Kupiansk is here, this area, and as I said quite a few times, I get feeling that something big is have been in preparations. Something big on Russian side have been in preparations, and well, I'm quite sure before end of this summer we will see large scale offensive operations of Russian forces on the central and northern sectors of the front line, from Bakhmut to Kupiansk. And probably we will also see large-scale offensive operations in direction of Kharkov region, entire Kharkov region. But yet again, let's wait and see. So next news is RIA Novosti's report about strikes on Tokmak that Zelensky's regime did conducted. And by the way, this information is especially noticeable because according to Russian sources, during the strikes, Zelensky's regime did use cluster munition. So maybe U.S. cluster munition is already in Ukraine. Maybe that's a possibility. But yet again, Zelensky's regime did had Soviet era cluster munition, and they were quite actively using those weapons previously. So maybe that was Soviet era cluster munition. But on this information, former president of Russian Federation and current deputy chairman of Security Council of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, did react, and he said that if information will be confirmed, and if Zelensky's regime did begin to use cluster munition on the front lines, then Russian side will have no other option other than also use cluster ammunition, which is much better than Western made ones. That's Medvedev's assessment. So let's see during the day. We will probably learn some more. Maybe it was a Western made cluster ammunition, I don't know. And if that's the case, then I guess in fairly short amount of time we will see that Russian side will also begin using those type of weapons as a response. So let me continue now, and this is TASS News Agency's 23 minutes, so I will go through headlines, so this video will be as short as possible. So TASS News Agency is reporting an article that was written by Washington Post, according to which some representatives of Western elites, especially in US elites, were quite angry on Zelensky because of his tweets yesterday. And basically Zelensky said that NATO is not yet ready to receive Ukraine, and he was crying. He was making just noise, really, because it was too obvious for always, that Ukraine will never join NATO. But well, this clown Zelensky maybe was thinking otherwise, and you probably did see some videos and photos from yesterday's summit, NATO summit in Vilnius. This individual Zelensky was definitely not in his place. Why they even invite him in Vilnius, I don't know. He was just humiliated. That's what it was. It was a pure humiliation of Zelensky. And well, maybe Western elites wanted it because sometime in the future they will remove him from office, probably. But anyway, yesterday was humiliation for NATO and humiliation for Zelensky and his associates, because it's them that did create these expectations that Vilnius summit will be something special and some crucial decisions will be made and historic decisions and that kind of crap. When in reality, you know, I was always skeptical of any chances of Ukraine to join NATO. And I was skeptical of Vilnius summit also. I was, you know, questioning all this buzz about this summit. And yesterday we did see that I was correct. It was pure humiliation for NATO and Zelensky because no decisions, no significant decisions was made, and those decisions cannot be made because, well, despite expectations that was created by Western elites themselves, it was obvious. It was obvious for all intelligent people that NATO chapters itself will not allow Ukraine to become a NATO member as long as this country has territorial disputes and this country involved in military conflict. As simple as that. So, well, today will be second day of humiliation of NATO and Zelensky, and well, it's a good scenery for the rest of the world. Good scenery for the rest of the world, and one more indicator that this world definitely moving towards multipolar world, because it's truly becoming increasingly difficult to take seriously these so-called representatives of the West, these so-called Western elites. They are definitely not representing citizens of Western states. They are representing only this caste of those globalists and corrupt criminals, really, that all they care is that only care about their own power and interests. And it was good. It was good scenery for the rest of the world to see how irrelevant entire this so-called Western elite is. How irrelevant in terms of this world. So let me continue now, and this is TASS News Agency's report, according to which Maria Zakharova, official representative of Russian Foreign Ministry, did made a statement about NATO summit, Ukraine's chances to join NATO, and also Polish attitudes towards Ukraine joining NATO. And Zakharova said that Poland is not among the real supporters of Ukraine joining NATO, because Polish elites do have their own plans for western regions of Ukraine. And this is, by the way, official statement of Russian, high-ranking Russian official. She is a representative of Foreign Ministry. And this kind of statement have been made not the first time in Russia, that Polish elites do have some plans about western regions of Ukraine, as I was saying for many months now. And according to Zakharova, Poland has no interest Ukraine to become NATO member states, because in that case Ukraine's western borders will become secure and Poland won't be able to establish control over those territories that used to be part of Poland before Second World War. So, well, no surprises for us, for our community, but yet again, I was asked quite a few times, why you think Poland will you know, Poland has some plans to establish control over the western regions of Ukraine, and well, it's too many indicators, really. Too many indicators to say so, and among them statements that was made from Russian high-ranking officials who definitely do have more inside information that we have. And there are some other indicators also, not just statements of Russian officials. So RIA Novosti is reporting that Sejm of Poland did vote for vote for a resolution and basically demanding from Kiev to recognize its guilt in Volyn massacre. By the way, I did not mention this topic yesterday because you know YouTube algorithm, and they can use any topic to strike you. And if I will talk about it, yesterday was 80th anniversary of Volyn massacre when Ukrainian neo-Nazis commit genocide basically against ethnic Poles. And there are different informations, but at least 120,000 Polish civilians were killed by Ukrainian neo-Nazis, and it has all this tragedy has a Volyn massacre. It's known as a Volyn massacre, and today we had information that Polish Sejm, that's Polish Parliament, did vote and basically demanded from Ukraine to admit its guilt in Volyn massacre. And well, I don't think this will go down well in modern Ukraine, where ideological descendants of Bandera, Shukhevich, Melnik, and the rest of the Nazi mass murderers are in power. So I don't think current Ukrainian neo-Nazis that are ruling that failed state will admit anything, really. And that's why I think it's immoral from Polish elites that they are supporting these individuals in Ukraine. I mean, it's I don't know, man. It's totally immoral. But yet again, current Polish elites are acting with not on principles and morale, but they are serving the Western masters first of all, and that's it really. And acting on behalf of Washington and London. They don't care about Polish society also. I'm 100% sure about it. Let me continue now. And RIA Novosti is reporting that well, Biden did make statement that if Ukraine will join NATO, it will provoke war between NATO and Russia, which is absolutely correct. This old criminal Biden, worst president probably in U.S. history, time to time still are able to read some notice that he is given by his advisors, and well, this particular notice is definitely correct that Biden did manage to read. If Ukraine will join NATO, which will never happen, but if we will just do some thought experiment or thinking experiment, well, if Ukraine will join NATO, it will straight away provoke direct conflict between Russia and NATO. No questions about it. And by the way, yesterday we did learn that France made a decision to deliver to Zelensky's regime long-range missiles, and during the day some additional news was reported by Russian media according to which France already did deliver these missiles to Zelensky's regime. And if that's the case, then I'm afraid in coming days we will see these missiles have been used, these French missiles have been used against Russian citizens. not just in zone of special military operation, but Zelensky's regime will definitely try to hit deep inside Russian territory. Also, well, how you gonna comment this? How you gonna comment this? Macron is a war criminal and mass murderer, and he should be in jail. That's it. That's my comment on it. That criminal should be in jail. And everyone that is involved in supplying weapons to Nazis and terrorists, from French government or from any other government, they all are mass murderers, Nazi sympathizers, and supposed to be in jail forever, for life. Animals. Let me continue now. And yes, they are dirty animals, man. That's what they are. All those so-called Western elites, they all are, you know what they are, man. Deplorable creatures. RT is reporting that White House did make decision to supply Turkey with F-16 fighter jets. Well, as I said in yesterday's update, Erdogan did make the trade with Western elites did make the trade. How should I say it, man? In regards to Sweden joining NATO, yes. And it seems like for Turkey's green light for Sweden, they will now receive F-16 fighter jets, but you know, US is demanding from Ankara some guarantees that these F-16s won't be used against NATO member states. Of course, in this case, we are talking about Greece. Turkey and Greece do have quite difficult relationships, but even if Turkey will promise anything, I mean, does it matter? We all know who is Erdogan. He's a salesman. He's a salesman. I mean, he will sell anything and anyone. And well, maybe he was between two worst scenarios, him and this opposition candidate during the presidential elections. Maybe he is bad, but not the worst. But still, he is a salesman. He cannot be trusted, man. He just cannot be trusted after what he did, especially after what he did with freeing these terrorists from Azov. I mean, he definitely cannot be trusted. Let me continue, and there's so many news, really. It's 38 minutes already. Okay, I will go through headlines. So Sullivan, advisor on national security, advisor of Biden on national security, did make statement that if US will not deliver cluster ammunition to Zelensky's regime, then Ukrainian forces will just simply run out of shells to conduct. They will have not enough shells to conduct their offensive operations. Well, maybe Sullivan is not really informed well. I don't know what the hell is wrong with him, but with ammunition or without, Zelensky's regime is not able to achieve any success, any more or less significant success on the front line. Well, and nothing will change with deliveries of cluster munitions. Nothing will change in a significant way. So TASS news agency also reporting about discussions in White House to supply Zelensky's regime with ATACMS missiles. By the way, it's only a matter of time, and these long-range missiles that can be launched from HIMARS MLRS will be delivered to Zelensky's regime. I have no doubts about it. Next information is that German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius did make statement that Germany is still refusing to supply Zelensky's regime with long-range missiles. Yet again, can we trust any representative of current German government? Of course not. It only takes one call from Washington, or maybe not even from Washington, one call from US Embassy in Germany, because they are real rulers of Germany, modern Germany. I mean, that's true. It will take only one call from US Embassy in Germany, and this very person, Boris Pistorius, will come up with a very different statement, and he will applaud deliveries of German long-range missiles to Zelensky's regime. That's it, really. I mean, you cannot trust those criminals, man, that are put in the position of power in the Western states by these globalists and real rulers of Western world. Okay, next news is also reported by TASS, according to which Norway did make decision to increase its financial support of Zelensky's regime by $250 million. Well, Zelensky will have quite a few more millions to buy a few more houses, or I don't know, whatever he wants. And Norway's taxpayers will pay for it, I guess happily, because I don't see any protests in Norway about it. And well, RT is reporting that Ruble is beating toxic Western currencies in export payments, which is true, by the way, because according to numbers, 39% of payments for Russian export deliveries in May were made in national currency, along with 30% of for imports were also made in national currencies. And when it comes to toxic currencies, and we are talking about US dollar and euro, and then US dollar and the euro has meanwhile declined in exports and imports to 33 and 35% respectively. So regulators said, I guess this is information from Russian Central Bank, and yes, I mean, process of de-dollarization is unstoppable, I believe, but in comparison to some other commentators or experts that are predicting total crash of dollar, I don't think, I'm not that skeptical. I don't think dollar will lose its position as a world's reserve currency, but difference will be that in 5-10 years time world will have some other reserve currencies also, and one of them will be from BRICS, and that's a good development for this world. But dollar, I believe dollar will remain one of the main reserve currencies, and little by little will lose its positions, but it will not crash. And no one should want dollar to crash, because it will cause devastation in US economy, and then it will cause total devastation in the world economy. So one should think what he's or he wishing for. We don't need dollar to get crushed, man. It's too dangerous, not just for US, but for rest of the world. So this is it for now. How long is this video? It's still 45 minutes, almost. Well, I hope you will find this update interesting, and if so, please hit that like button and leave some commentary about any topic you like. More comments and topics do make difference, really, to deal with YouTube's algorithm. And if you can, please share links to my videos or my channel with your friends on Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, or any other platform that you are active on. That will greatly increase my chances to reach a wider audience, and of course I will be immensely grateful for it. And by the way, if you think this channel is interesting, informative, has some potential and deserves to exist, please consider to support with small donations through PayPal, Buy Me Coffee, from today through Boosty, if for citizens and residents of Russian Federation, and by subscribing to my Patreon page. You will see links under this video in description box and in the pinned comment. This is it for now. I hope you will find this video interesting, and yes, have a great day and take care. See you soon.